Shorto, it's time for bench talk.
Give me a hell yeah!
When was the last time we recorded it in the same room? Not on a Zoom phone call.
We are the same person, so that's why...
Oh, the mirror image, the split screen here.
Now, you did a video, an L98 and an RX-7. An L98 is basically, it's an LS, but it's just a different engine code if you're not aware of that. 6 litre V8 in an FD RX-7.
We're talking a polar ice meltdown, this one.
Bigger than any RX-8 salt pile too. Waste of a car. Should have been titled How to Ruin a 200k Car.
Hold up, wait a minute.
Not everyone obviously was happy with this V8 conversion. A rotary engine would destroy a V8. Why put a V8 in an RX-7? Oh my God, so dumb, ruined a beautiful car. Everything's just about ruining it. If you love the LS that much, why not just buy a Commodore and do that up instead?
What?
Yeah, because an FD and a Commodore is like...
Just go one step, why don't you just buy a Statesman? I mean, seriously, why don't you just buy a Statesman? It's the same handling car as an RX-7, isn't it? Just one better.
We could have just strapped the LS to the front of his couch and just driven that around the circuit, do you reckon?
Just gets better. I don't know, man. I'd rather guide my father into my sister than put an LS in a 7.
We are laughing.
The lady boy of the car world? I'd rather cut off my dick with a spoon than be seen driving that.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Cool car and conversion, but it should be a rotor, and this is coming from someone with an FD in the shed with a blown motor on the stand. You know what, at least he's honest. It sure does make a great boomer's car. Now, he's saying that, but realistically, if they knew anything, rotaries were popular with boomers now. You know, they're pretty old cars now, the old...
They are. 50 odd years old.
Now, this was a repeated comment, I swear I saw 20 times, was constantly, just buy a Corvette. Have they not clicked, we don't really sound too American, do we? Mm-hmm. It's the worst accent ever, but...
Football, meat pies, kangaroos, and Holden cars, huh? Right! Well, you sure sound like Australia to me!
Well, there's not a heap of Corvettes in Australia, and the ones that are here are quite expensive.
But for the last time, they were never sold here. They don't exist.
Yeah, the ones that have been converted though.
Yeah, but even them are rare.
Pretty hard to find.
The RX-8 is actually quite good. Its motor is the only negative.
Little problem.
That's a pretty big negative there.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a point. I mean, they're pretty good sitting in the garage just cranking away. I must be one of the only people on the planet who have been in a 13B, 20B, V8.
I'm not a joke.
They're all good in their own right. They're all very different, and I could understand exactly why you'd have any engine in there.
Massive comment about ruining the balance of the car.
Balance of the car.
But what was covered in the video?
But all of that's addressed in the video. But
what was covered in the video? The balance of the car.
It doesn't matter, Jordan.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You just see the title and you just fucking full faux rage.
Unacceptable!
I reckon a lot of people, not only have they never driven an LS powered FD, they probably haven't even been in an FD, like just a normal one. There's one thing, like they put these cars, you know, your hero car. A lot of these cars, you got to remember, they're like 25, 30 years old. When you drive them now in standard trim,
they feel every bit of 30 years old.
They're not, no, they're nice cars, but they're not like, you don't hop in them and go, oh my God, this is unreal. Like they've got a lot of flaws. As you'd expect, they're 30 years old. Just appreciate them for what they are. But if you'd taken another rotary model, like if you put a V8 in a Mazda RX-4, that'd be fine.
No one cares.
No one cares.
It's because
was the RX-4 in Fast and the Furious?
Exactly, and an RX-7 I guess is known as a circuit-orientated car. And they think for some reason a V8 can't be in a circuit-orientated car, which is ridiculous.
Purity.
Now, speaking of more LSs, we recently featured a VE, a pretty slick VE SS wagon. Had all the fruit, turbo, the works. Now, if you want to do a video similar like that with your car, just reach out and contact us. We're pretty open to diversity and inclusion.
Pretty much any car except for an FG XR6 will feature. Now, in all seriousness, we put out a call a little while ago. I don't know, we've got about 80 FG XR6s on file, haven't we? There's a few too many. So apologies to everyone, but we won't be featuring all 80 of them.
This bloke loved the car. He goes, the best thing about a wagon is you can fold down the back seats and fit 5 to 6 blokes long ways. But old mate's gone and put the air tank in the way and ruined the fun.
5 to 6 blokes
I don't know
lying on each other in the back of your car?
I don't know what fun 5 or 6 blokes are having in the back of the car, but obviously
each of their own.
This segment is brought to you by Full Charge.
Wouldn't be comments unless we covered some EV action. And I know how much everyone loves the Full Charge.
No! God, please, no!
New line of merch coming out soon.
Now there was a story that Tesla outsold everything.
New figures show the Tesla Model 3 was the most popular sedan last year, beating established favourites like Toyota's Camry and Corolla, the Kia Cerato and the Mazda 3.
All the EV fans were loving it, but the only problem is
It's fake. Phony. Fake.
well, the excitement was short-lived, and apparently 2020 figures got fudged with 2021. I don't know what happened, but
How many fingers, Winston?
What were they outselling? Well, they've definitely had a big uptake.
I was claiming they were outselling everything, and you're like, come on. Really? They're outselling these common economy boxes?
You know where the new car figures are kind of skewed? A lot of the times they'll be like, this car has sold this many per month, but in actual fact there's been supply chain issues, and then they all come into the country at once and they're like delivered in 1 month, which means they sold that many in this month, or they were registered or whatever. You've got to look at, the only stat honestly worth looking at in terms of new car sales is the year stat, year to year. Because when they were delivered, like month to month is...
Yeah, they basically
Plain
combined
pointless.
2 years of sales and fudged it.
But there's heaps more Model 3s on the road. I should say there's heaps more base Model 3s in white, because that's the only colour I believe you don't have to pay for.
Yeah, I've seen a few red ones, but it's few and far between.
They look a lot better in red, but they're all freaking white. $1,500 to paint for a different colour. So you'd have to think, you know, the price of fuel, it's going through the roof. And that means we're all going to be moving to electric cars. So I'm going to sell my $5,000 expensive fuel car, and I'm going to go buy a $100,000 EV.
But why aren't people just buying EVs? They're pretty affordable.
If you're poor, stop being poor.
This chick's obviously a big fan of her Tesla, and I quote, "May seem like a waste of time to some, but I would rather sit in my Tesla for half an hour watching Netflix at the supercharger than stand in the dirty exhaust fumes at the gas station. Heck, my family catches me hanging out in the car in the garage." Really? What's she doing?
Doing what?
On a regular basis, I like to think of it as my she shed. I'm
What,
sure you
sitting
do.
there-
I'm sure you do, love.
Sitting in the car on charge. On those classy white leather seats.
I always hated filling up, but never realised just how dirty and disgusting all that is. Glad we are moving to a time when our children will not have to breathe in that crap.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
But not everyone's a fan of EV. I'll never go electric. I get more excited looking at my fridge, at least there's food and drink in it.
Drivers with obnoxiously loud cars may now face fines in the city.
In the US and New York, they've got traffic cameras now issuing fines to noisy cars. They've got decibel meters on them.
That's been going for a while.
The old roaders would be in a bit of peril, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
A few Bridgeports going past these cameras. You've been looking for a new car? The new car situation is dire. There's no cars. There's not a lot of cars he wants to buy. And then I was looking, you were looking at I-30Ns. There's a hatchback and a sedan. Now why I'm mentioning this, the sedan is the weirdest looking car I've ever seen.
Doesn't have that much resemblance to the hatchback, does it?
No, it doesn't look anything like it, which is odd. The back of this car, you're telling me the designers didn't design it and then someone just did a big karate chop.
Say that again.
Karate chop.
I thought it was judo chop.
Judo chop, is it?
Judo chop!
Right across the back of the car, the whole thing's smacked in, the front. And then you got, I'm looking at reviews and they're saying, such a racy, clever design. I'm thinking, I don't know if I'd use those words, saying it's clever. I don't really know if I'd want to be caught dead driving.
A lot of these cars, I reckon, are let down by the wheels. Like, that doesn't have the same wheels as the hatch. The hatch looks alright.
But there's a lot of people telling you to buy the i30N. He took it for a drive, wasn't impressed.
I didn't say that.
That was a lie.
Come on. They weren't the words you told me on the phone.
No, I said there's some things are definitely so nice I liked about it, other things I didn't like. I just said I wasn't sold on it. It doesn't mean
You reckon it was lazy?
I wouldn't say it's lazy, but I actually thought it would have a lot more to torque down low. And I solely reckon that's because of the front wheel drive. And it's just tuned. I mean, I'd have to drive. I always look at these cars, Jordo. You've got to drive a tuned one. Because they do a lot of tuned cars, stage one.
You
right?
also have to drive for a while. If you take it on a 10-minute
Yeah, I know.
flick around here and there, you're not in enough situations where you can learn what the car's like.
Yeah, the clutch pedal was terrible. I didn't drive the auto one. I probably should. But anyway, I thought I'll hold off this year and see what other cars come out because there's nothing to buy anyway. And the wait times are ludicrous.
You're going to get another 3-cylinder.
So I thought, I'm going to hang out. I'll wait until the new STI comes out. Maybe I'll buy one of them. But, Jordo, we've got a problem.
There's been some sad news during the week.
The STI, finished.
Cut.
Boxer engines. Subaru's run out of head gaskets. There's no more.
Have they run out of their famous EJ20s?
EJ207, it's gone. No, but everyone was looking, well, I wouldn't say looking forward. All the rumour mills were it was going to come out with 400 horsepower, all this stuff, and then Subaru's just, it is a little bit odd. I found it odd. It's like, has their testing, have they just been blowing too many head gaskets on the engine dyno and testing? Because why would they release a WRX and not an STI? You think they'd just go, there's no new model.
Yeah, I know. Even if they said it was the last one, it seems weird that they wouldn't release, as you said.
Because the dumb thing about it is, because any car that's been out this long, that'll still sell. So that's it. No STI.
Speaking of selling, the most famous Subaru you can buy is a 22B Impreza. Easily the best looking one ever made, with the big pump guards on it. One recently sold for a lazy 520 grand.
That might buy you some HSV wheels at the moment.
$373,000, but by the time you land at 520.
What? So it's going to cost you 150 grand.
Fees and taxes and all the BS that goes on. That's just the price that you buy it, but then everything else added on by the time they come out of the auctions and into Australia.
I looked at the other day, the new RS3, 82 grand. All the fees and taxes, all the BS. By the time luxury car tax, because we've got to protect our Australian car manufacturing. Yeah? So by the time you pay all these bullshit fees and taxes, it's like 103 grand or something. It was over $20,000 of fees and taxes in your driveway. It's like...
It's outrageous, egregious, preposterous.
But now
are they forcing people to get electric cars, are they?
Have they released the pricing on the WRX?
No, but I'm just guessing.
In today's climate, it'd have to be over 50, surely.
Oh no, I reckon, I'm just guessing. I reckon it's going to be like 58 plus on roads.
50 what?
8. I'm taking a guess here.
For a WRX?
Surely you can't be serious.
Yeah.
58,000.
Yeah, but have a think about it, Jordo. What does 50 grand get you now?
Doesn't even get you a Yaris.
50 grand is nothing now in terms of cars. So then 50 grand gets you nothing, right? Then the luxury car tax is, well, I don't know, what is it, about 80 or something? Like it's not that much difference. It used to be a big difference back in the day between the average car and the luxury car tax. You actually had to buy something spicy. Now you're just buying something all right and it's right up there.
But when you put the call out saying what kind of new car can you buy, why don't you just buy one of the... It's always just get an XR6 Turbo, bro.
Yeah, BA.
It's just better than a new car.
So it looks like I might be keeping my existing fleet for a while, but I'm still going to look for a new car, but I'm not exactly in a rush now. I'm just like, I'm not going to buy a car. The problem is, if you go into the lot, you can't even get wooed and they go, look, you can take this one today.
No.
So
you can't even negotiate with them virtually because they've got no stock. They just know, no discounts, nothing.
So maybe one of the car manufacturers, if you're watching, I'd happily drive one of your cars for 6 months just to test it out. If you want
long-term loaner. We'll do a review.
Yeah, we'll do a long-term loan review, yeah.